the disguise of success, and the inner shadow. You can conquer giants, achieve incredible success, and earn the admiration of the world, but what happens when the greatest threat comes from within? We often believe success protects us from error, yet it is often the disguise for our own shadow, the capacity for moral failure that lurks beneath our greatest achievements. David's blueprint for structural integrity. David, the giant slayer, offers the most profound blueprint for recovering from failure. His crisis reveals the Luma Accountability, the structural courage required to face your own inner darkness. This isn't about shame. It's about using repentance as the psychological mechanism to restore the integrity of your psyche. The roadmap. 3 Acts of Luma Recovery. David's path from moral collapse to wholeness wasn't quick. It was structural. We will reveal the 3 essential acts of Luma Recovery. 1. The shadow reveal, illuminating the capacity for harm. 2. The humility audit, deconstructing pride's defense. 3. The repentance restructure, rebuilding psyche integrity. Master these acts, and you ensure that your worst mistake does not become your permanent identity. The journey to structural integrity begins by removing the mask of success. If you're ready to use your past failures as fuel for future strength, join the Illumination by hitting subscribe. Let's begin with the shadow reveal. Act 1. The shadow reveal, illuminating the capacity for harm. The first act of accountability is the shadow reveal. David, shielded by his power as king, acted with moral negligence with Bathsheba. His failure wasn't a mistake. It was the shadow, his unconscious capacity for abuse of power acting without moral oversight. The lesson. We all possess the capacity for moral failure. The danger is not the potential error itself, but the Luma blindness that prevents us from seeing our own darkness. David teaches us the courage to acknowledge that the evil we condemn in others resides, in seed form, within us. This is the painful but necessary first step to regaining ethical clarity. Act 2. The humility audit, deconstructing pride's defense. Once the shadow is revealed, the ego defends itself with justification and pride. David's profound recovery began with the humility audit, the painful act of dismantling the elaborate self-defense mechanisms of the ego. This is Psalm 51, the raw, honest acknowledgement of fault without excuses. The lesson. Pride is the barrier to recovery. The Luma process requires the humility to accept that you are the sole source of the failure. This vulnerability, this willingness to stand exposed, is not weakness. It is the Kardia fortitude needed to stop the structural collapse and move from self-deception to self-truth. Act 3. The repentance restructure, rebuilding psyche integrity. The final act is repentance, the psychological mechanism that restores integrity. Repentance is not just feeling bad, it's the psyche restructure. It's the conscious choice to alter behavior and rebuild our inner world with new, stronger moral structures, ensuring the previous failure cannot repeat. The lesson. Your worst mistake does not have to be your permanent identity. David teaches us that failure, when met with Luma Accountability, provides the precise blueprint for the psyche to rebuild itself stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The structural integrity is restored by turning past pain into future moral vigilance. David's story grants permission to be both powerful and fallible. By embracing Luma Accountability, facing your shadow, and committing to the repentance restructure, you transcend your past errors. You transform your failure from a source of shame into the ultimate source of wisdom, integrity, and structural strength. If you're ready to use your failures to forge your strongest self, embrace accountability. Join the Illumination by hitting subscribe now.